I'm Lisa Gold. I am the Executive Director of A4. It's very nice to have you all join us today. Quick accessibility check. I am a Hapa woman, half Korean, half white, with dark hair pulled up in a messy bun, wearing a black sweater and a vote necklace. I'm sitting in my messy art-filled apartment. So good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to, hello Funaki. I'm gonna share just real quickly a video to set the stage or some background so you can hear from our last Jadin Wong Fellow about this fellowship. So I'm gonna, let's see, I am just not the most technically savvy person, so you're gonna have to bear with me, but I'm gonna try to do this, so hang on. Oh, I had it set up. Hold on, sorry.
Hi, my name is Rohan Park.
Well, let me start over again, okay? Apologies, everyone. This is why Priscilla usually runs the video, because she's so much better at this than I am. Okay. All right, here we go.
Hi, my name is Rohan Bhargav, and I am Asian American Arts Alliance's Jadin Wong Fellow for 2020. I'm originally from New Delhi, India, but currently I work as a choreographer, dancer, and educator in New York City. And I'm also the founder and artistic director of Rovoco Dance Company. Receiving the Jadin Wong Fellowship in 2020 has been a completely transformative experience for me. Right at the beginning of the fellowship, I was asked what I was missing and what I needed to take the next step in my dance career. From those conversations, I was assigned a business mentor who specifically had all the expertise that I was looking for. They taught me how to do bookkeeping from scratch, something I had never done. They taught me how to do marketing, how to incorporate your company, how to create budgets, how to apply for grants, and all the admin side of running a dance company. I was also assigned an artistic mentor, someone I recommended to the organization in the hopes of being connected to them because I respected this individual in the dance industry. And the artistic side of the mentorship is all about feedback, someone coming into your rehearsal process and giving you insight from an outside perspective, and also someone who has already done it and already is doing the same kind of work as you are, but in the next phase of their career. This kind of support is truly unheard of in the dance industry, and especially for Asian and Asian American artists. Another really amazing thing about A4 is their monthly town halls. If you're an Asian or Asian American artist, this town hall is open for you. You get to go into a virtual space right now because of the pandemic with other Asian and Asian American artists, and you can even pitch a project and do a 1-minute pitch to the whole community. It's such a great way to connect with other artists in the world or the United States and see what they're up to. Another big shout out is to the people running the organization. Every time I've connected with anyone from the organization, whether that be Lisa or Ting or Ibby, have been so welcoming, and you can truly feel that they support the mission of supporting other artists. So if you are able to, please support A4. They are doing so much work to uplift and nurture Asian American voices. And I'm so proud to be their fellow for 2020 and also to just be connected with them.
Okay, so that's like a totally unbiased view of, of this fellowship. So I'm gonna go through, I'm going to attempt to share my screen again and just talk about the fellowship and answer all of your questions as best as I can today. So here we go with the fellowship. Okay, so just to give some background about the organization, the fellowship, who's eligible, what you need to send us, what we're going to look at, how long it's going to take, and then answer more questions. All right, just background about us, if you don't know us, we are a 37-year-old nonprofit service organization. We are dedicated to ensuring greater representation, equity, and opportunities for Asian American artists and cultural organizations and cultural workers through resource sharing, promotion, and community building. All right, so this fellowship, the 2021 Jadin Wong Fellowship is for an emerging Asian American dance artist for the creation of new work. So this fellowship is made possible through the New York Community Trust, and it is to celebrate and honor the life and legacy of Jadin Wong, who was, if you don't know who she is, just Google her right now because she's amazing. She was an actress, a comedian, a musician, an advocate. She ran the first like BIPOC cultural casting forum in the 80s. It wasn't until the 80s. Barbara Streisand used to open for her cabaret act. She was just like one of these people that was unstoppable. She basically ran away from home to be a performer and just has an incredible, albeit not widely shared history. So we honor her with this work. So as Rohan mentioned, some of the components of the fellowship, it includes $6,000 unrestricted cash award. You can do whatever you want with it. But the purpose of it is to give you the space to do what you do best, which is to dance and to make dance work. So the whole program includes, like we said, career coaching. So we set that up kind of in order. So you can kind of lay out your goals, understand what you need, to get to the next step. And then we'll pair you with an artistic mentor who can work with you on critiquing your projects or make connections or whatever that is you need in terms of the dance or choreographic world. And then we work with you to develop a presentation of the project that you worked on while you were a fellow here. So it doesn't have to be a finished, full-on presentation performance. It can be whatever you want. So we did a project with Rohan, the previous fellow, just a couple weeks ago. You can watch it on our Facebook and YouTube channels, I believe, which was called Gupshup, which is Hindi for chit chat. And he talked about a piece that he was commissioned by the Queensborough Dance Festival, and he showed us clips of that. But the part was his piece. It's called Ai, which means welcome. And he talked about hospitality culture. And so we basically sent out chai making kits to people, because if you had been in his studio, or we had done this in or hopefully post-COVID times, he would have invited you in, we would have had a cup of chai, we would have sat and talked. And so we did this, so we sent out, tea and cloves and all sorts of things and spices to make your own chai, and we did that together. So it was really a nice presentation. So it doesn't have to be, like I said, a traditional. There was a video clip of the work, but we can set this up to be whatever you want. There's a lot of freedom and flexibility. Okay, so we said there is an online application, which I think you all have. The link is on our page. Priscilla can drop it into the chat if you don't have it. It's a hopefully relatively simple application. You can download it and save it as you go. And then we'll have a panel review process where we have an amazing group of dance professionals who will come from different dance traditions, different backgrounds, who will review and score the applications. So we said this is an 8th-month project. So we will make the award. The announcement will happen in late April. It officially starts on May 1st. So we'll pair you with a career coach. So you have a few months to work through that. Then we will introduce you to an artistic mentor. And then we'll schedule the public program at the end. So also note, this is a very flexible schedule. It's not a rigorous, like you have to meet every Thursday at 2 o'clock. It's open to suit your needs and your schedule, as well as that of the coach and the mentor. So, you know, you may want to do everything up front in the first 2 weeks, or you may want to spread it out, whatever works for you. Again, this is to serve you and support you, and you know your work style better. So this is something that you can work out both with your coach and knowing yourself. If you all want to ask questions as we go along, that is possible. I may not be able to see you raise your hand, so you can post it in the chat, or Priscilla can let me know if there's a question. Okay, who is eligible? Again, note this is not something that A4 is setting the parameters for. This is determined by the funder. I wish we could expand the criteria for this, but there are some restrictions. So we are working within the framework that has been established for this very generous program. So the 3 components: emerging, which means relatively early career, Asian American, that is self-defined, and somebody that shows outstanding promise. You know, we hope that with this support that you will continue to give back to the dance field and the community. So again, what does this mean? The applicant must be of Asian heritage. So again, that's self-reported. And we all kind of know that this Asian American is not a monolith, and it is kind of an artificial nomenclature, but this is nevertheless, this is how we define it. So anybody that falls within this descriptor, you are eligible to apply. You have to be 30 years of age or younger as of the start date of the fellowship. So again, if you, you know, we try to extend this as much as possible. If you turn 31 on May 2nd, that's fine. But you have to be born 1991 or later. You cannot be a full-time student or a part-time student in a degree granting program during the time of the fellowship. This program is really for the support that people outside of an academic sector might receive. As Rohan stated in the video, this is not a typical program. It's really hard to get this kind of support, especially once you're out practicing in the field on your own. You know, there are advantages, obviously, to being in a degree granting program, but there are also, you know, barriers to people, especially immigrants and people in the Asian American community who may not, you know, have the luxury of being in a, you know, an arts program. So we want to make this, again, to people who can benefit from this type of support who may not have access to it. You have to be a resident of one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. That is specified by the grantor because this comes through the New York Community Trust. And you have to be living in the United States and primarily be based in New York City during the fellowship period. Again, COVID makes this a very challenging time, and we know some people may have left, but we hope that you will be back if you are temporarily gone. We don't want to lose any more of our artists than we already have. Okay, and then you can be a citizen, a permanent resident, a resident alien, or a non-resident alien as long as you have an ITIN number. It's just so that we can pay you. We have to have a number that we can cut a check or transfer money. So that's the only requirement there. Okay, does anybody have questions so far that they want to ask? You can raise your hand with the little hand waving function if you want to. Okay, I'm just going to keep plowing ahead. unless you have a question. Okay. The application. Okay. So there are, in the online application, which is through JotForm, you will be asked to, oh, there is a chat, sorry, okay. Are you eligible if you graduate from a program in May? Yes, you are, as long as you are not enrolled in the program during the actual period of the fellowship, you are eligible. Okay, sorry about that, okay. Let's see, what else? Okay. Letter of reference, resume, headshot. Okay, so we'll go through the different aspects of this. Okay. Okay, so the online application. So this is a jot form that's going to ask you, you know, all the basic questions, your name, your website, blah, blah, blah. And it has a series of questions about you and your practice and why we should choose you. So this is your opportunity to shine, to tell us what makes your work special and different and worth supporting. So the first question is for you to describe the influences, legacies, or heritage of your work. So again, this specific question is not required, but just because it's not required doesn't mean you don't have to answer it. Again, we're trying to learn as much about you and your practice and your work as possible. So I would suggest that you give us something here. We want to hear, again, about you and your approach to dance, where you are in your career, and how is this fellowship going to help you? Do you need this? What are you hoping to achieve with it? You know, tell us why it's meaningful to you. And again, in honor of Jadin Wong, who gave so much back to the community, this award is named for her, and so we are hoping somebody will continue her legacy in that way. So we would like to know, you know, how you continue to pay it forward. What kind of impact would you like to make on the Asian American dance community through your work, or the creative community in general, or the dance community in general? So let us know. And then during the period of time, it's, again, this grant is for the creation of a new work, to allow you the time and the space, hopefully, to be able to create something. So just tell us about it. Tell us what you'd like to make or what you're working on. It can be a project that you have already started. It doesn't have to be a brand new project, but it's not, we don't want something that's already been produced and presented. If you are trying to, I guess, improve a work or take it to the next level, just clearly articulate that in this section. Okay, let's see. What else? Okay, describing the cash stipend. Just a quick statement about how it will support you and your livelihood. It's not, this fellowship is not solely based on need, but of course we would like it to go to somebody who could use the support versus somebody who does not need the support. Although we know that, you know, 96% of artists have lost income due to the pandemic, and we recognize that almost everybody has been touched by the loss of work. So we're not going to ask you to prove it with a 990 or something like that. So don't worry about that. Okay. The next aspect of the application is a letter of reference. So we would like somebody ideally who knows you and knows your work. It's better to have somebody who's familiar with you than to have like a big fancy name. Like, we don't need somebody from whatever, I don't know, the New York City Ballet or whatever. We want somebody who can advocate for you and understands why you would benefit from this. That's what we're looking for. We want a resume, headshot, now work samples. So we want to get a sense of you, what you're doing, what you're making. So we're asking for recent samples. We would like 3 samples of performance or choreography. Again, depends on what aspect, who you are, what your background is. If you're a choreographer, obviously that's what we're looking for. Whoops, sorry, meant to go back there. Each sample should be no longer than 4 minutes in length, because it's a lot of time for the reviewers to go through all of the panelists, all of the applications, and all of the work. So please carefully select the right 4 minutes and make sure if the segment is longer than that, that you give us the time markers. So again, if it's a 5-minute video, tell us to start at 1 minute, 23 seconds and watch to 1:27. If you only tell us the start time, then we're gonna stop watching after 4 minutes, but make sure you tell us that. If the clip is only 3 minutes, then you can write complete, or actually we'll probably figure that out. Most importantly, if it is password protected, make sure we can view it. We don't wanna have to disqualify you or not be able to see your work because we couldn't view it because of what you sent us. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Again, you can save as you go. And you can, I'm sorry about that. You can go back and you can make changes and edits, and you can, we can give you a copy of this presentation if you need it. So again, you'll be asked your personal information, your address, your borough, that kind of thing, to share with us your website and Instagram. You don't have to, but again, if you have an Instagram, I would recommend sharing that. We did not put a YouTube channel on here. Maybe we should do that next year. I don't know, we'll think about that. If you have a YouTube channel or something that you'd rather show us than a website or an Instagram, that's fine. Just indicate that in the box there. Okay, so ethnicity, again, check all that apply. Update your resume, ideally as a PDF. You can also update it as a Word document if you choose. We would like a headshot. You know, high res is nice, just something that's not a scan of your driver's license. So something that, assuming you win, that we would want to use in the announcement. So think about that when you upload that. And then again, the letter of recommendation. So ideally as a PDF, but a Word document is fine as well. Sorry, I'm getting a spam call from somewhere. Okay, so these are the sections for describing that. There's a character count there, so you'll know as you're typing if you're going long or not. We suggest typing it in a Word document first and then pasting it in, just easy tip there. And then the upload for the work samples. So again, you should include a link. You don't have to upload an actual file, just something that we can view. And again, make sure that you indicate the time stamp or the range for each of those. Okay, here's the URL for the jot form. Again, that's on the website. It's also on the application. It's pretty much everywhere. So you'll be able to do that. And note that the deadline is Sunday night at 11:59. Please do not wait because we will not be answering emails on Saturday and Sunday if you have questions. We will answer emails on Friday, Monday through Friday from 10 to 6 if you have questions. But if it is, you know, Sunday at 10 o'clock and you cannot figure out, I don't know what to ask, then it's going to be tough. We're not going to be able to help you at that point. So we will try. I will tell you, I am a little bit bad about checking my email at odd hours. So unofficially, I may be checking my email, like especially if the site goes down, we'll be monitoring for that. Don't worry about it. But for questions, I really, 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 really encourage you to do this not at the very last minute. Okay, how do we choose? It's really hard. So we have to have selection criteria so that we can evaluate apples to apples, merit to merit. So we look at artistic merit, community impact, the work that you're going to make, subjective evaluation of your potential for growth, and financial need, although that is, like I said, the smallest part of this. So artistic merit, we look at the technical skill, performance quality, that is for the dancer, not necessarily for the choreographer. So just making that clear. As a choreographer, they'll be looking again more at the technical merits of the piece that you've created, or pieces, I should say. Community impact, again, that is a big part of this. What you've done in the past, what you plan to do in the future to continue to give back to the community. The work, again, we really want to have an understanding of what you're making. There is not necessarily a judgment on good or bad, but we really want to understand it. Like I said, there are people that come from a lot of different backgrounds and traditions that are going to be evaluating this. Some may have experience with the type of work that you make, others may not. So keep that in mind when you describe your work, okay? Potential for growth. Again, this is for an early career artist to help you get to the next level. So just let us know. We'll take a look at, again, like what your aspirations are, you know, what kind of trajectory you've been on, how serious you are about your career, and we'll look at that. And then financial need, again, it's not the defining criteria, but just, you know, let us know, you know, what this means to you financially. Are you going to use it to pay for groceries? That's totally fine. So you can make your work. That's okay. So just, you know, you can be real with us. Timeline. Okay. As I said, the submissions close at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, March 21st. We will take the end of March and the beginning of April to review all of the applications to make sure everything's there, to put them into package format, send them to our evaluators, and then convene the panels, have discussions, and then make the selection. So we will notify the selected fellow on April 23rd, and then we'll make the public announcement on May 3rd. So if you have additional questions, you can email me or Priscilla, and we will do our best to answer. Okay. Chat questions. Okay, are choreographic works for dance films considered as strongly as live stage work? Is one given preference? I would say no. No, again, I think it's not, we're not going to look at necessarily the context. We're going to try to look at the work itself and the technical merit of the actual work. You guys, you can turn on your cameras if you want. You can like raise your hand if you want to ask a question. Hi, Beatrice. I like seeing faces. Hi, Austin. It's nice to see who's here. Okay, so hi, Nadia. Nice to see you. All right, anybody have any other questions that they want to ask? You have a question, Austin. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, thank you so much for doing this. I have a question. I hope I can say it succinctly. I'm wondering if historically all of the awardees have been for dance have been given to choreographers, or if there have been other awardees who have been primarily performers, and what sort of projects they had presented?
So in the past, we would alternate between a dancer and a choreographer. This year and last year too, we decided just to conflate it. And so it could be for either. You can look back on our website to see we started this award in 2014, excuse me. So some were dancers, some were choreographers. Honestly, I don't know if we list on the website what their project was that they won for, and you know, and I think that I can't share like the exact formula, like 50% as you know the project and 12% is this. So it's kind of like this weird alchemical mix of criteria, and we do have a rubric that we use for analysis and evaluating that, but the actual project, I think it's more important like how you describe it, how clear you are about it, as opposed to like the very specific content of it. So.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Hi, X.
Hi, yes, my name is X.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to see you. My question is, I'm wondering if there is any penalty or any kind of feeling towards if the project we propose in the application ends up changing over the course of the different stages of the fellowship, or as we get into development of, let's say, a new project. Is there room for that project to change compared to like when it comes to presentation for whatever reason, if it differs from what we propose on the application, or is there a preference for it to really stay the same and only change in specific circumstances?
So I will say that we don't have a crystal ball, and we won't be able to project whether your project is going to change when we are evaluating it. So once you have the fellowship, you have it, right? And so if it changes, you know, we would just want you to talk to us, to communicate. You know, as Rohan stated, we are very accessible. We're always there to support you. If for some reason the project, for whatever reason, you know, that you propose, like this is not a good idea, or after speaking to my artistic mentor, I want to, or after my, you know, my whatever, I want to take this in a different direction. We just want you to talk about it. I mean, we hope that you're going to create work. I mean, that we're giving you the space and the resources, the connections to be able to make work. That's what this is all about. You know, whether the work is blue or the work is yellow, that's not the most important point. But it's ensuring that you are developing as an artist, that we're providing that resource, and that that, you know, that's part of growth, right? Is like recognizing the need to shift and pivot. I'm sorry, I hate using that word. I have to stop. I mean, everybody's using that. But I mean, that's the reality, right? Like sometimes things don't work out as you planned. And that's part of, like I said, your development as an artist is recognizing that and growing and changing and adapting as you need. So, you know, there wouldn't be a penalty. We would just want you to communicate with us on the regular so we know where you are in the fellowship. Austin, you have another question?
I do have another question. I'm thinking about your answer from my previous question and brought up something else. Could you give examples of what sorts of projects dancers have proposed in the past? I'm just curious.
Honestly, I cannot. The only one I can do is Rohan, because I have only been with the organization for 2 years. And so he was the only artist that I worked with. And this was a dance project that he talked about that kind of merged Hindi street theater and hospitality culture. And he was just like very much interested in exploring that, you know, his own kind of background. So that's the piece. You can watch I would recommend watching the Gupshup video on our website, just to get a sense of, you know, the piece and the performance, and also, you know, the project. But yeah, artists have proposed different things, and honestly, I could go back and look, but you know, it's going to be it's a totally different panel from year to year. And so, you know, what one panel selects or thinks is great may be different from another. So again, it's just like really important for you to very clearly communicate, you know, what this means to you, and, you know, your intent as an artist, as a creator.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Shini, Nisha, oh, Nadia.
Are there any different considerations for a project proposal that is primarily based in collaboration with other artists instead of a work that is solely the grantee's own work?
Explain to me, as a dancer or as a choreographer? Like,
either or, like if you were a choreographer who wanted to work with a very specific musician or playwright, etc., are there different considerations for collaboration-based works?
no, I mean, as long as you are the predominant driving creative force behind the project, doesn't matter. I mean, art doesn't take place in a vacuum. You know, we recognize that we're part of a community, and that's also part of what this project is about, you know, supporting the community. So there's no penalty. We don't like to penalize people.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else? Julia, Lori, user. Anybody want to share questions? No. All right then. Well, thank you all for joining today. Again, if you have questions, shoot us an email. Watch the Rohan video, the Gupshup video, and yeah, get those applications in. And just so you know, I mean, you know, it's really exciting to see all of the applications. And even though, you know, obviously not everybody can be selected, but it's really great for you to get your work in front of the panelists. These are awesome panelists, I'm telling you. So it's worth the effort. Just, I think a lot of times, like if you have the bandwidth to apply to things, then you should do it, because like you never know what's gonna come from it. This happens to me all the time. I sit on a lot of review panels for different things, residencies, awards, blah, blah, blah. And like the artist may not be suitable for that particular thing or may not win that fellowship. But oftentimes, like if their work sticks with me, I will reach out to them later for something else. And we do that all the time at A4. Like if somebody pitches at town hall, we're like, oh, that's such a great project. We should, you know, invite them to collaborate on this thing that we're doing at the Met for their 150th anniversary. So that happens all the time. So keep that in mind too. You know, sometimes like it's hard to get your work in front of what we call the gatekeepers, right? The producers, the casting agents, those people. And so when you have an opportunity like this to be able to share your work, you know, it's good, because you're going to have 5 people, you know, reviewing your stuff, talking about you, you know, thinking deeply about you and your practice. So it's a really good thing. I'm going to share that. And yes, X, we will offer feedback. So if you are not selected, you can make an appointment to have a short debrief about your application and the panelists' feedback. So we'll do our best to do that. All righty. Okay. Well, that's all I have to say then. So I thank you all for joining us. And like I said, I look forward to seeing all of your applications. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.